Welcome to episode number 66 of the Nintendo Jump Podcast. We are a weekly discussion podcast created for Nintendo gamers by Nintendo gamers. It is the week of September 23rd, and speaking of podcasting, my name is Daryl, and today I'm once again joined by Sergio. How are you, man?
Hey, Daryl. I'm doing quite okay.
Perfectly acceptable. Okay. Cool. And always also joined by Kevin. How are you, man?
Doing pretty decent. I had a cup of very basic pumpkin spice almond beverage from the fourth best place in the world, Trader Joe's. Not sponsored by Trader Joe's.
Well, if we were sponsored by them, that'd be at least the second best place in the world. But no.
Yeah, I know. It's only fourth. Fourth is so good though, but no medal. Anyway, Daryl, how are you doing today?
I am good. I am on a gaming high right now, so this is... welcome to the fall of way too many games, and I'm enjoying it. So there you go.
Nice.
I thought I'd be more stressed than I am right now, but I'm good. Oh, and speaking of being good, this episode is going to be all about bad segues. So, yeah, this is how we're going to do it. It's going to be a bunch of different topics that all... turns out interconnect with each other, and we're all going to segue into the different topics in as interesting a way as I think we might be able to. And with that said, let's start with Kevin. What's our first topic, man?
Well, speaking of seeing, I'm seeing one game that I really did not think I was going to play. Okay, I talked about it before. I was like, you know what, I don't know, I like the other games in the series, but I was like, yo, I gotta splurge a little bit. Link's Awakening remake. If that's how they say remake, you know, I deserve some royalties. Royalty
That's
fees,
not
but...
actually in the title.
I know, but you know, I'm just saying, if they decide to use that, please, you know, donate or
hook us up,
charge us some royalty fees. But okay, all right. Anyway, Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. It's a remake on the Switch, and you know what? I even got the amiibo for it. Did you guys get the amiibo for it?
Yep.
Yes.
Very good.
Nice.
Yeah, you know, I actually, you know, I have the amiibo right here in my hands. I even brought it to work as my rubber duck debugger, which is a thing where, you know, if you're coding and you're trying to solve something, you can talk to your rubber duck thing, or usually it's rubber ducks, but in this case it's Link, and you know, you can talk away through a problem and try to, you know, just it kind of helps, you know, when you're struggling to figure out a solution and you're trying to work your way through the problem. You have an inanimate object that can help you find your way, even though it doesn't really it can't really help you, but it's nice to have an object like that. So I'm off track, but yeah, the Link's Awakening game.
No,
man,
his face is perfect for that too. It's like, no, we can do this. It's gonna be hard, but we got it.
Exactly. You know, I mean,
yeah.
Like, it has those Celeste vibes. I mean, and like, I love the amiibo so much. You know, I bring it to work, and then I bring it back home, and that's all I have for that. But yeah, you know, I saw the reviews. I really liked, you know, what people wrote about it, you know, from Eurogamer, Kotaku, IGN, GameSpot, Polygon, Destructoid, or as many review sites as I've read within a few days. But yeah, I really like it so far. The music is great. The way they remastered Sword Search, which is one of my favorite video game tunes of all time. And yeah, I'm in love with the game. Even though I've been playing more Fire Emblem, but I still love the game a lot. So, what about y'all? What do y'all think about this game?
Yeah, well, you know, having spoken of Trader Joe's at the beginning, there is a trading minigame in this game. honestly, it's one of my favorite parts of it because when I played this game back when it was out on the original Game Boy, I didn't know English so well, so this side quest was actually the most difficult part for me, more so
Oh,
than
Ooh.
finding those shells. So, it's simple now, but I really like the minigame and the side quest. But of course, the main game is just it's kind of magical. I'm almost thinking Zelda is back to me because I
mhm.
skipped on Breath of the Wild, but 2D classic Zelda, man, I love it.
Well, that's really encouraging to hear. And let me ask you, I mean, the obvious question here: if Zelda is back, would you go back to something like Breath of the Wild at this point?
It's tempting, but I've been kind of realizing that Breath of the Wild is too open world for me, and I had
Huh.
never played any open world game before it, and I guess the reason is because I don't like them. So I want to
Ooh.
play the Zelda parts of it, but I don't want the big world of it.
Well, you got the magic combination of a tiny world with Link's Awakening. So
Yeah.
yeah, I picked it up too. I was always gonna get it because I wanted to play the game again. Because frankly, I played the original on the brick gray Game Boy
Oh,
years
nice.
and years ago.
The OG.
Actually beat it, got all the way through it. After about a year of being stuck on the Eagle Dungeon. I'm not kidding. I was stuck on the Eagle Dungeon forever before I
Ooh.
finally went back and figured it out that there was this one wall that I just had to bomb, and I didn't know that for some reason, and painful times. Anyways, so I didn't know what to expect coming into the game at all. I expected, okay, this would be cute and charming, and I remember liking parts of the game, but not liking it as much mechanically and such. So I have to report that Link's Awakening on Switch is now like my number 4 favorite Zelda game, which doesn't sound all that high until you realize that I just said it's my number 4 favorite Zelda game. Like,
Yeah,
Zelda is
that's
my favorite series,
You're
period.
right.
yeah, that's
Uh,
pretty awesome. I mean,
and if you put it there, you put it above all of the other 2D Zeldas, meaning I think this is the best 2D Zelda. I really do.
Yes, yes.
I
yeah.
think it is. Uh, the overworld is small but like amazingly well put together. The dungeons themselves are really interesting. The mini bosses and bosses, while generally pretty simple, are also really interesting in their design. Like they're just kind of fun to play.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I beat it already.
Yeah, dang, that's pretty good.
I couldn't stop playing this game and I absolutely loved it. Absolutely. It's a treasure, and if you have never played it and you're kind of on the fence, please try it out. This is an amazing game, and I'm super happy it's on Switch.
Yeah, speaking of this game, I mean, this game has just this charm
You
and
can't segue to the same topic.
yeah, I know.
That's not even a segue. That's just a one-way street, man.
Yo, but it's so bad. That's just a one-way street. No, okay. Well, speaking of there's been a lot of just moments where I'm playing the game. I have the music on blast or in through my headphones, and just like just really enjoying the orchestrals, and like it really does harken back to the good old days. And I beat it myself as well. I played it on when they released on the Game Boy Color for the DX version of it. So include that color dungeon, I believe, and yeah, it was really cool. Just it was actually my first Zelda game I've ever played. I did not play the original until way later, like the original like Legend of Zelda on the NES. I didn't play it until way later. Link's Awakening, that was my first entry into the series,
Oh,
and
nice.
and because at the time I'm like, oh, okay, well, where's the princess? Where's because I didn't know who Zelda was at the time. And then as I played through the game, and I realized, oh wow, like this isn't about saving the princess; it's about something greater. I don't want to spoil it, but it was just I was like, wow, this is totally different, and on a portable system at the time, with the Game Boy Color, which I still treasure to this day. It's still somewhere here. I gotta dig it to find it, but yeah, it's just one of those magical moments where obviously nostalgia hits home, and the music Telltale Heights, and gosh, even the remake. I mean, when they remade that tune, man, it was pretty good, and I would actually play it over and over again in the background at work, and just while I'm working, I was like, man, like, oh boy, I don't even know. I just feel things when I listen to that tune. So
Oh, I used to listen to that tune from the Game Boy game, like just on repeat.
Yeah.
Or any remix that got out there, I would listen to it. And I gotta say, the remix in this game really good, really really good. Actually, all of the music in this game is quite good. It really well done by a guy who was responsible for some Splatoon music, and you can actually kind of hear that come through from time to time. So it's pretty interesting. Especially so there's a tonal shift in the music of the later dungeons that is just jaw-dropping in this remix. Like you walk in there and you're just like, oh my god. Like it's really really good. It feels kind of weird to say we're not going to spoil like a 20-something year old game, but honestly, if you haven't played this game, you should experience it for yourself. So yeah, we're not going to spoil it. So I mean, ultimately, I'm extremely positive on it. Sounds like you guys are quite positive on it as well.
yeah, I am like 142% positive, man. It's just like, and I didn't even expect to be this positive about a remake of.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I'm just like
a remake of a game I'm like ultimately I would say I'm not that fond of, and
yeah, because like I'm a big Oracle of Ages seasons type of guy, which I hope it could be remade.
Oh,
you know,
I know the engine is there now, right?
Yeah, and like that one tune when you're around the beginning of Oracle of Ages, and you hear it goes ba 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 da ba da da, and it's like it just gets so eerie. It really is, as we've said last episode, gorgeous and morbid, and I always remember that tune in my head, and there's days where I'm like, man, like I just want to play that again. I don't have the game right here, right now, but I mean, it would be nice. Yeah, I didn't even think it was worth $60, but now I can see why it is. It's man, I was definitely wrong.
It's weird for me to do a value trade with this game and Breath of the Wild just because of the amount of stuff that's in both games. Like Breath of the Wild is a much bigger game, like just literally bigger. But I didn't feel like, as I was playing through Link's Awakening, I didn't feel like I was cheated by it. It felt like I paid this amount for this game, and that feels fine to me. I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to keep the game like for a very long time and just kind of cherish it. So that's great.
And Daryl, have you gotten a chance to try the Dampe dungeons that you can make on your own?
Yeah, they're cool concept. I did about as much of those as you kind of need to get some collectibles, and then I was just kind of out. Like, and that's funny because they actually said that was one of the main reasons that this game got remastered, was so they could put this dungeon maker in there. I kind of knew it from the outset that just wasn't going to be all that interesting to me, especially because you can't really share your levels or anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they're fine. I don't have a problem with them. I think it's a fine addition and something kind of fun to do. And then I just kind of moved on because I wanted to get to the rest of the actual game. It's kind of where I landed on it. So the other cool thing here, and I could do an easy good transition, but I'm not going to. This is a bad segue episode. So the cool thing here is that Grezzo is the developer of this game. This is their first game on Switch. They ported a ton of games and remastered a ton of games onto the 3DS, including Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, the original Luigi's Mansion. They also made their own game, Ever Oasis, and a Street Pass game, and they have a really good track record for the 3DS, and kind of a home run on this one, despite a few like slowdown issues here and there, but ultimately that didn't really affect the game to me. So yeah, I could say right now, so speaking of Grezzo, but I'm not going to. So speaking of Switch games, we had a conversation on Twitter today about what other Switch games we would like to see Grezzo make. We got back. So we posted a poll for our listeners and other people that we connect with on Twitter, just to see of these 4 different options, which I just was kind of spitballing earlier today, what people would actually like to see. So here are the 4 options. One would be another Zelda remaster. So I'm thinking like the obvious one right now would be like a Skyward Sword, or maybe the Oracle games, although Capcom would have to get on board with that.
Yeah.
Or another one that I kind of predicted a few episodes ago was a new remaster of Ocarina of Time, which I actually think would be cool. I would get it.
Yes.
So that was one of the options, new Zelda remaster. The second option was a new or remastered Four Swords game, because they actually did, Grezzo did make Triforce Heroes,
Ooh.
Oh,
which
that's
is
right.
kind of in the Four Swords model. The third option was another remaster, not in the Zelda franchise. Specifically, I was kind of thinking Mario, because honestly, a Mario game, aside from pretty basic ports, a Mario game really hasn't been remastered before, which is kind of odd,
Right.
because they remaster every Zelda game, but like Mario doesn't really get that treatment. I don't know why. So that would be kind of cool to see. And then the fourth option was a brand new game or IP. So what do you guys think? Sergio, what would you say here?
I was very tempted to vote for a remaster of Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Something really, really like going all out on it. And I still hope to see that someday, but I actually voted for either a new or a remake of a Four Swords game, because it's been
Nice.
so long since I played a multiplayer game like that. I did not play the one on the 3DS, Triforce Heroes. I guess, I don't know, something about it kind of didn't click enough, and it didn't remind me enough of the Four Swords game. So I'm hoping more for a traditional Four Swords experience.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, and that was a huge hit back in the day. I mean, it's hard to replicate that success. So, but I mean, man, like I I really wanted to vote for the other ones, but I gotta go with the brand new game, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm always down for new IPs, and I'm surprised that it got the lowest number of votes compared to
Yeah.
other ones. And
Which I personally thought was funny. We very
Yeah.
specifically want Grezzo to just keep making other people's games, guys.
Yeah, 'cause
You're really good at it.
well, you know, because I have an idea. Okay, so hear me out, Gretzo. Okay, just hear me out. You know, just from a fellow gamer. Okay, so I remember briefly during a particular music episode. Okay, so speaking of a music episode in the past, like I talked about this polar bear, right? He had a twin brother, right?
Oh my
And
god.
they got separated. No, they got separated. But here's the thing. Okay, they got separated. They're trying to find each other. But along the way, okay, the polar bear goes from Texas. He goes to Oregon. He meets Douglas the beaver, and then they become, you know, helper buddies. And then they traverse along the Cascadia region, you know, going through obstacles and random, you know, aliens that come out of the sky, and it's all fictional, obviously.
So-
Okay.
yeah.
So speaking of aliens that come out of the sky, I mean, an option would be like an Ocarina of Time / Majora's Mask, you know, like Legend Collection or something, where it would just kind of be a
Oh.
facelift from the 3DS. Sign me up for that. That's what I ultimately voted for.
Yeah, I mean that's
But
more
I
realistic.
I was super split because ultimately, well, if not that, and part of that is just me wanting Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild on the same system, which just sounds
Man.
like utterly mind blowing. But-
Yeah.
Aside from that, if I had to pick, you know, if I had to kind of go with my heart here, Mario 64, a Mario 64 remaster from
Ooh.
Grezzo
Oh.
just sounds freaking phenomenal. Like that game, it got a weird port onto DS, a platform that did not have any kind of circle pad or joystick or anything like that.
Mhm.
It actually, they gave you a little thumb stylus thing that you could like control the analog stick on the touch screen, which was awful. But otherwise it was a pretty good game. But yeah, that game hasn't seen a proper remaster, and I think it would be incredible for it.
I would also suggest Super Mario Strikers. That would be a nice remaster. I would
Oh,
love.
yes.
Yeah, right? Because soccer is cool. Sorry. I mean, excuse me, football. I think football would be like a Mario football kind of game. Not the American one, I know. No pitchforks at me right now. A Mario football kind of game would be great.
Actually, the American one would be cool too.
It would be cool. It would be cool. Okay. I'm more partial towards soccer just because follow.
Oh,
sport
Mario
a little more.
Strikers is like
Yeah.
one of my favorite series. I
Oh,
really
yeah,
like
yeah.
that series. And it had the one on Wii actually had online play. So
Yeah. There we
that
go.
would be awesome. So just checking in with some people who wrote in. Chewy recommended hashtag remaster 1,000-Year Door. Yeah, I can get behind that one. That would be the second Paper Mario game. Yep, I can definitely get on that track.
Yes.
A game that I've never played, which would be great.
Dragon agreed with you, Sergio. Believe the most fitting at this point would be Four Swords or Adventure Remaster, which, if that game had online play, would rival almost rival Crystal Chronicles for me. Like just seeing online 4 links, if it actually ran pretty well. Triforce Heroes had online and it worked okay, but it lagged a lot at times. So something like that, I would hype for sure. Then Dr. Fact actually wrote in, I'd take a remaster of Skyward Sword, Sergio's favorite game. Put it down halfway through, never picked it back up again. As long as motion controls aren't mandatory, I'll be a happy camper. I don't see that happen.
It could happen.
We got Keyblader saying the Minish Cap, please. And so on and so forth. But the overarching right answer to this question actually really surprised me, and that was to remaster Four Swords game. So I guess it's just time. I guess it just feels like it's time for a new multiplayer top-down Zelda type. Which, man, I mean, I think we might all three be on board on that one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the Triforce. I mean, yeah, it would be great. I would like that too. Man.
Yeah, so 31% for that answer, 28% for a different Zelda game remaster, 25% for a different game series remaster. So people would somewhat more like a Zelda remaster than a non-Zelda remaster, which is interesting. And then
a very big 16%.
16%
other remaster. Okay, let's a big one.
Like I said, we very clearly want Grezzo to just nope. We don't want you making your own games, guys.
Oh man, yo, but the polar bear idea. No, okay, it's a terrible idea. But I mean, oh gosh, time to find another company to pitch for, or pitch to. No, I think a polar bear RPG game would be cool. I don't know, just saying. Well, I don't know.
I like what Grezzo does, and I hope someday they do get a chance to make a new Untitled game. And speaking of an Untitled game, there is an Untitled game that I have been playing since last week. Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah.
At which point do we realize that just is the title, guys? It's not Untitled. But the title is Untitled Goose Game. That's weird.
It works so well. And as you might expect, yeah, you just play as a goose and you just bother people and you cause havoc as much as you can as a goose. And it's just simple. It lets you explore, do whatever you want. There are limits sometimes and you have to do certain tasks to unlock new areas. But honestly, the best approach that I've been having with the game is just do whatever I can on my own, and then I go ahead and look at the to-do list, which is basically your goals. So if you want to look first, go ahead, but if you want to explore, I think you're going to have more fun with the game that way. I did hear that it's fairly short. You can probably beat it in a little over 4 hours. The game came out as $15, but I think it's $20 now. So it's a little rough if it is that short, but it's a lot of fun and it's very unique. If you're looking for something like sandboxy type of do your own thing at your own pace, in with a lot of humor, honking all over. This is a good game.
Yeah, it got some decent reviews too. Like, yeah, it's like in the 80% range. I mean, or 80% area. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, like,
So I have a question, and
yeah.
my interest in this game depends on this question. So I want you to really think carefully. Is there a dedicated button for honking?
Oh yes, there is.
Okay.
Whoa, which button is that?
I believe it's the Y button.
Okay.
Why though?
Yes.
Oh man.
And my actually real question is, would you? So, based on what you've played so far, do you think that this game is going to have some replayability? Like, if you were to beat it, would you just kind of put it down, or is there more stuff you can kind of do, or is it just that fun to go repeat the sections?
I don't think so. I think once you do something, you kind of figure out how it works. Unless eventually there's some randomness to it, I don't think so. My hope, though, is that they might do DLC and add a couple of new areas, a couple of new tasks. That would be great.
That'd be great.
Well, speaking of great, there's this great game that I've still been playing. Y'all know what it is. Fire Emblem, Three Houses. I know. Update 5,000, right? I mean, we've been doing updates here and there, like, or probably just the third one, right? How are you guys doing with Fire Emblem? Do you guys beat it yet, or how far are you guys into the game? I mean, I'm gonna save my update for a little bit, but yeah, how about you guys? What you guys been up to with Fire Emblem?
I had to put it on permanent hiatus.
Oh,
Not only that, but like a lot of games, just so I could start fresh with a bunch of games that are out now and coming out between today and tomorrow and this weekend. And yeah, I had to do a restart of everything. So I like it a lot. Weird as it might sound, it's still my game of the year, even though I haven't played much of it. But I'll be back some year, hopefully.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm reserving all game of the year discussion at this point because man, we're entering the fun time. So between that and Link's Awakening is going to be in the talks, and then we've got things like, well, I've got Dragon Quest coming tomorrow. That's apparently an incredible game.
Yeah.
Hopefully I like it. And then later on next month we have the likes of Trine 4 and Super Monkey Ball returning, and Luigi's Mansion and Mario and Sonic. Like,
oh my gosh,
there's so much stuff. And Ori. I mean, come on, it's Ori.
Oh,
yes.
I just read a little bit of this article from Kotaku. Shout out to Tim Rogers. He's awesome. He wrote this article called "The Switch is the best way to play Dragon Quest 11," and I was very intrigued because for me, I'm not that big of a fan of Dragon Quest in general. I played Dragon Quest 6. Yeah, that's all right. Even though I spent like 50 hours or whatever, but it was still fun. Now, and I say that compared to like other RPG legends like Final Fantasy, which I think might be a little unfair. So okay, excuse me, but I am curious about this game. It seems like it's really good, and oh my goodness, but I have so many games I gotta play. It's just crazy. But man,
Well,
yeah.
Speaking of curious, I'm curious about your progress in Fire Emblem. How's it going?
Oh yeah, yo, back at it again with
a segue back to the original. I like it.
Yeah,
Very
know
well
what?
done. This
Thanks,
man is a
Serge.
professional.
Yeah, I mean, after all, he's Lieutenant Surge. Always looking.
Yeah, and he teams up with Chewy on his other podcast, so he has a lot of experience segueing back to the topic. I know this.
Yeah, well,
love you, Chewy.
Speaking of love, I love 5 different characters in this game that I am.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. Okay, here we go.
It's about to get creepy.
Well, okay, hold on. Maybe let me take it back. Okay, so I just rewinded. Okay,
No, it's
so
already out there. There is no rewind.
No. Okay, so there are 5 people that I'm thinking about, taking it to the next level at the very
Hashtag Kevin's Ladies. There
Kevin's
you go.
Ladies. Oh, here we go. Put it on the mic. So there's obviously my ace unit, Leone. A tank the ace, the one of the best. I was gonna say the best, but not really. So one of the best. There's also Petra, or excuse me, Petra. I don't know how you say it. Petra. I'll say Petra. Okay, so she is like she's like this critical queen, like just critical as in she gets like critical hits almost all the time, and man, she just knows how to win. And she has this very unique way of talking, and like it's very cute. So I like it. Okay, so my third one, my third lady is Marianne. Very quiet, very shy, but man, when 5 years later, boom, she's like more open to things, and she's more confident and all of that, and she can hold down the spear really well. I believe I have her at S rank for the spear. It's either that or the writing thing, whatever, one of those. Very good. Okay. Now, there are two that I have not revealed yet from before. I think I mentioned these three before. If not, then, well, okay. So, my fourth one is Bernadette. Yeah, Bernadette. I did not expect that. She is my Sniper of Legends. Sorry, Claude. Sniper of Legends, and she is just really good with it, and gets me critical hits, avoids, one-to-one combat a lot of times, unless she uses a sword. And yeah, very good. Or no, Lance. Excuse me, Lance. Yeah, Lance. Overall, pretty good. The last one, okay. The last one is Lysithia, okay, which I did not expect because, in the beginning, she's like, being very demanding, not wanting people to treat her like a child. And then when she grew up, and then for some reason, it just starts sinking. I don't know. She got those two crests. Two is better than one because other people have only one crest. She has two. So I don't know. Maybe I'm materialistic about it, or it's not really materialistic because it's part of her being. So I guess it's what's from the inside that counts. Okay. So speaking of inside, my insides are feeling like, okay, I don't know who to choose.
I told you this was gonna get creepy.
I know it's not.
I called that one.
It wasn't that. It's not that. It's the opposite. I'm the opposite of a creeper. The opposite of a creeper is me. So it's not gonna.
Oh.
That was really
So
lame.
so you're gonna settle with Mercedes, right?
Oh, you know what? That was the thing. I actually thought about Mercedes, as they say in the game, for a while, but then I don't know, man. Just didn't work out. She played hard to get for a while, and I'm like, man,
Oh my god.
not worth
It's
it.
getting worse.
I know. I'm kind of like
Um,
Sylvain, right? Sylvain is the guy who's been like,
Yeah.
yeah,
You are the living embodiment of Sylvain right now.
yeah. But I did recruit him though. But I did not. But I believe he passed away in my
Oh
game.
no.
I know. Oh gosh, I can't believe I said that. Oh, you know what? Okay, I know it's going long, but the thing about my playthrough is that whenever I make someone into a heavy armor type of person, he or she unexpectedly passes away. Hilda, Ash, Sylvain. Damn it! Like I don't. Has that happened to y'all? Because like.
No, we're good at this game.
Whoa! Okay.
I'm
Hold
kidding.
on.
I'm kidding.
You've lost some units too. Okay, don't give me that. I mean.
Yeah, but not my tanks. My tanks are all set.
Well.
Join the Black Eagles. Our tanks are the best.
You know
so-
what? I can't make a statement about that yet because I have not played as the Black Eagles. So. But
So
I do
yeah,
love the Golden Game.
I went all the way through the story as a Black Eagle. I really enjoyed it, and now I before we got into the the way too many games part, I started and actually got pretty far into a hard mode playthrough in the Blue Lions track, and that is where crap gets real. Oh wow!
What? Yo.
Like my first playthrough, I lost I think 2 people total, and they were like new recruits that I was trying to train up, and it just didn't work out. I was like, that's too bad.
Okay.
And I feel I'm kind of being flippant about it because they didn't actually die. They were still students at the time, so they just kind of like stopped being in my army. No problem.
Oh.
In the second playthrough now, like I I lost Bernadetta and Dorothea, who are like two of my favorite characters from that from the Black Eagles house. I lost them in the same turn. I
What?
lost
How did it happen?
I lost Dedue and Casper and Ash and
Oh no.
so many characters. Felix, so many characters.
Oh no, not that guy. Man.
It's really rough, and I've got a nice core now, so I'm like I'm going through okay, and I haven't lost anybody in a while, but oh boy, if you want to play with your heart a little bit, yeah, play hard mode and do the pact rules where you have to move on if they die, and it's ugh,
Gosh,
that's been painful.
that's man, that when you said those things just now, my stomach felt 100 times heavier. I'm like, man, I don't know if I can do a hard playthrough now. Oh my gosh.
I'll say it was enjoyable because I mean I said it before. I won't ever play a Fire Emblem game not like this again. I think this has been a great experience, and
Yeah.
I'm really happy we did it. And I think I kind of thought it ahead of time. I kind of think it's the right way to play the game. Just let people die, and that seems, it's hard, but I just think that that's the right way to do it. And yeah, it actually enriches the game. So, okay.
I think so too, because when you play in that sort of way without using Divine Pulse, obviously, you play differently. You play like your life depends on it. And
it gets really tense.
Yeah,
it gets like seriously, like your heart starts pounding when Petra's surrounded by 5 people who all have like a 40% chance to kill her, and you're like, oh no,
yeah, it's crazy.
And then they all miss, and you're like, yeah.
I had that moment yesterday with Marianne because I thought that she had enough defense to take some damage, but I did not realize that Mage was in the corner of my eye, because I thought that Mage was gonna hit like Bernadette or Raphael, but you can't always trust the
No.
the
Sometimes
what
the
do you call
game
it?
flat out lies.
Yeah, you can't always trust that opponent predicted move. I don't know how you call that mode, but I mean,
the little red line. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like when my turn came, and it's like, oh gosh, so the enemy, the mage, can attack twice. It was like a 50% chance. Missed both times. I was like, yo, okay, pretty good. I was just like kind of dancing in my chair, not really. I was like, yo, okay, come on, yo, Marianne's the goat. Well, anyway, and if you don't know what goat is, look it up. Okay, I'm not talking about the animal. I'm talking about an acronym. So, but yeah.
Oh man.
Anyway, it's a phenomenal game. I still think it's the game of the year for me, at least. I know it's really early to say, but for now, it's still pretty good. And yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, so I mentioned Fire Emblem has those triumph moments when you dodge certain death and such. Well, there's another game just like that I played a lot of over the past couple weeks, and that is actually Celeste got updated with the farewell chapter, which is I think like the last content that's gonna get put to it. It was free DLC, brand new chapter. And just honestly, just further solidified that this game is like a top 5 game all time for me. Like,
ooh, man,
some of the best experience I've ever had in a game is coming from Celeste, and this chapter was no different. So, a couple notes about chapter 9. One, if you have not like beaten the rest of the game, and by that I mean like the A sides, the B sides, the C sides, this is going to be really hard for you. Really, really hard. Like ridiculously hard, like probably the hardest gaming thing I've ever done. It's a very, very long chapter that keeps building on its difficulty. But the nice thing is, every time you clear a room, you get that little, yeah, I did it. Like I just spent like 50 deaths trying to beat this room, but I finally got it. Yeah,
that's
heck yeah, like,
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, you get these nice little triumph moments, which I I grow to really appreciate with games like this, especially if the game's not just like rubbing it in your face that you keep dying, which this game does not.
Yeah.
Like
No,
Celeste
no.
is actually pretty nice about it. It's just like, well, no, you died. Okay, respawn, you're good. You know, it doesn't even like break the music or anything like that. You just get to keep hearing this awesome track, and you know, you'll get it. Keep going. But yeah, one chapter. So let me actually look this up.
You know, before you talk more about that, I do want to say that I purposely did not play the farewell thing yet, just because like I've just been so ingrained into Fire Emblem, and I heard about how hard it is. Like Shy Guy, if I'm not mistaken, he completed it, right?
Not yet.
Not yet.
He's working his way through it. And we're all rooting for him. So far in our Discord, it's just me and Dragon that have gotten through it. And Shy Guy is looking to be number 3. Yeah.
But he completed the Seasides, right? Because I remember we were that was the thing. Okay. All right.
Which
so
before this was probably the hardest video gaming thing I've ever done.
So Shy Guy, if you're hearing, if you hear that, obviously you do listen.
Kudos.
Like, kudos, man. I mean, the guy is one of the best.
I only have one sentence for you. You can do this. There you go. That's it.
You can do this.
That's the theme of the game. But to tell you the absolute terrible, awful number of deaths and such that I got. So I'm looking at the game right now. Total game, all A sides, B sides, and C sides, not counting Chapter 9. I got roughly 7,100 deaths. 7,100 deaths for A, B, and C sides of every other level. Farewell chapter by itself, 2,100.
Dang.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's hard.
You know, I feel like I've hit the 2000s as well. I need to double check, but I know I've died a lot as well. And it's a pretty, it's a fair, challenging game, and and just, man, Celeste makes you work for it. I mean,
it does, but like, to anybody listening to this who got turned away because it's hard, or didn't want to play it or something because it's hard, give it another look. And two things: one, the game is really nice about it. Like, it's really fair. It's really it trains you up. So as you progress levels, like, the first level feels really hard when you first play it, and then the second level feels really hard, and then the third level feels really hard. But once you get through kind of the concept of the game, if you go back to the previous levels, you'll realize just how much you've grown. Like,
right.
I can speedrun the first level without dying in like a minute
Mm-hmm.
30 or so. And that's not even all that good. That's just what you kind of get when you start really digging into the game, seeing what you can do in it. The second thing is, we've said it before, the assist mode is like the best difficulty scaler I've ever seen in a game. Like, it's so good just to use as a, if the game it's just not working out for you, bump the speed down to 90%, or bump the speed down to 70%, or give yourself another jump, or take away the stamina system. Like, there's so many different little tweaks and options. Please don't ever feel bad for doing that, because if that helps you enjoy the game, I don't see a problem with it. But that's just me. So
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think we're mature enough to understand that, everybody has their way of enjoying, challenging games, and there's zero tolerance for judging a way a person would play a game, whether it's lowering difficulty. I mean, there's no shame in that. I mean, it really is about, in the end, it's about having fun, and it's a game. It's a game that you can enjoy. You should enjoy. You should feel proud of playing. Celeste is one of those games that it is. I feel like it is a game that transcends a lot of the little moments that you celebrate along the way. The little victories. You climb to the top of the mountain. You're able to help others along the way, and you face your mirror self, and you confront that image.
Your very literal inner demon.
You're a little demon, and I think a lot of it is very, very relatable, because I personally, for me, I mean, I struggle with it, a lot in my life. Trying to, figure out how, like, because I believe there's two sides of a person. There's always two sides to a person. The ones the side you see every day, whether it's like, just being courteous or nice or whatever, and that could be genuine, obviously. But then there's the other side where, you get to know more about the person, like what they've been through, all the things, all the secrets, and just the core, the values that the person has, and how his or her tragedies and struggles have shaped that person to who he or she is today. Maybe I'm reaching for it, but at least that's how I describe my life. I mean, that's why I feel like Celeste is just, it speaks to me in that sort of way. Having two sides to a coin, and just being able to overcome any challenges and try not to get too high, not to get too low, which is something that I've struggled with for a long time, which I've gotten better for the past year. But yeah, I mean, ooh, man, I didn't expect to say that. This was kind of weird. I know it's a backstory episode, but man, I got a little personal there. But that's what I think about Celeste. Like, it gets me more personal with like who I am, and I think when I went through that playthrough, it was just like, wow, like I was so determined to finish this game and be able to experience it in its entirety. Obviously, I did not finish the B-sides yet. I mean, I'm still trying, but then other games came to the fold. But yeah, I don't know. Am I making any sense? Because that's what speaks to me about this game.
Well, let me put it this way: when I finished the C sides of Celeste months and months ago, like the beginning of last year, when I finished that, I went into like this almost like month long, just like I called it a game hole, because I think somebody was talking about show holes. When you finish a show and like you don't really want to watch anything else, you just want to kind of keep watching that, but it's already done.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I felt with Celeste. Like, I didn't want to keep playing it because there's stuff to do, but I didn't want to do that stuff, collect the golden strawberries and whatever. But I also didn't want to play anything else, just because like that game, like everything else wasn't Celeste, if that makes sense. So I mean, at the time I played a ton of Rocket League because that's just completely different, but it actually took me a long time to get into wanting to play another single player game. And the closest feeling I've had since then actually is Link's Awakening. So I still want to play games, so I'm not quite there yet, but man, that game has a sweet taste. I don't know, like you get done with it and you're just like, man, I don't know what to do with my emotions now.
I mean, yeah, like this is why it was nominated, or it won the best indie game of the year. Like, this is the reason why. Like, Celeste, man. I mean, it's crazy to me. I mean, I would not have thought that an indie game would be like this even 30, 20 years ago. Like, because back then we were all focused on the Mario or Zelda and all that, but now, man, Celeste though, setting the standard. I don't know, Sergio. What do you think about this? Like,
Yeah, it's one of those hidden gems that I know I have, and hopefully, I'll play it soon before Animal Crossing comes out and nothing else gets played ever again. I know one of the best parts of Celeste is the story. And you know what's funny? The word story reminds me of Story in the Blind Forest.
That's true. It's close.
Which should be out by the time
you're such a pro. Oh my god. We are all basking in Sergio's glory right now. This is
So, Ori and the Blind Forest is out by the time you're listening to this. If you're curious, there is a demo, and your progress does carry over to the full game. It's a masterpiece. It's in my top 5 games of all time, and anybody that has played it will most likely tell you they agree. It's a great game, and I just wanted to remind everybody, like I mentioned when this game was announced for the Switch, if you have the desire to play it and you have the time and you actually would play it when maybe you just don't have the funds, hit me up and we'll talk. We'll get something going.
Are you still gonna do the free copies for people?
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay, that's
just check our email, man. There's stuff in there. Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome. I think I told you a little bit ago. I am going to get Ori. I'm not gonna get it right now. I don't think because of the month that I'm looking at for October. But as soon as I have a break, yep, it'll be there.
Nice.
Segue.
Kevin, anything?
Oh, speaking of things, there's one thing that
What?
there's one thing that I started playing, and Mario Kart Tour. I mean, man, I don't even know.
Oh, this is a big one.
Yeah, and I kind of like it. I actually like it. Okay.
All right, get out.
Oh,
Nope,
well,
that's not
hold
allowed.
on.
Nope.
No, wait, hold on.
Hey, Sergio, you
Okay.
agree with me, right?
Yes.
Yes, get out.
What? Okay, but I
By the way, I said before we were taking applications to be the new host. So congratulations, Shy Guy. You're the new third host of the Nintendo Jump Podcast. If you are listening to this, please contact us as soon as possible. Otherwise, you will be forced to forfeit your spot.
You know what? By the time I'm gone,
I kid.
I know, but if I were gone, you guys could talk about how you feel about Mario Kart Tour. No, but I like it in the stance of like they tried it and like some of the things they did were questionable, like the whole drifting thing where you have to slide your finger from left to right or right to left depending on where you want to drift, and turning was kind of awkward, but I felt like the presentation was decent. Now I do know that there's a gotcha thing and you have to pay money to play the 200cc courses, whatever. But from what I've heard, especially from the Discord community, you don't have to pay to play the 150cc courses, so that's cool, or the 150cc modes. And I think from the developer's perspective, I'm just curious about how some of the decisions they made, like Portrait mode Mario Kart Tour. It's kind of weird to me, because when you think of like a racing game, you want to have more of a horizontal field of view, more so than the vertical field of view, which is basically what you see on the screen, and depending on where you are in in that world, there's probably a better definition than that, but that's just how I see it. So I think that it's cool, and I would want to play it a little more, but yeah, I'm just and it's nice to just have a ball playing with just your mobile phone a little bit. I mean, I know it's not the same experience. Okay, I will never ever say that this can replace any console Mario Kart game, but I think for what it's worth, I think it's decent enough to give it a shot. And now I did hear from one of our members in the Discord community saying that there are people on the Play stores. I don't know which platform, but that give it 5 stars without even playing the game. I mean, that is quite a bit. I don't know. I
mean,
know how I feel, but
that just means it's an internet thing. Like
it's an internet thing.
Everything happens like that. It's just I don't know.
Yeah.
So I have an answer for the landscape versus portrait mode thing, and
okay.
That is literally because Miyamoto wants you to be able to eat a hamburger while you're playing the game. I'm not making that up. That is literally a thing. That's why every Nintendo game is in portrait mode.
Yes.
Just saying.
That's probably the best reason I've heard.
It's so that you can use the other hand to hang on to the bus straps or do something else, or specifically, and they did say this, specifically eat a hamburger while you're playing Mario Kart Tour. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's why it's in portrait mode.
Or if you're holding hands with your partner while you're walking down the street and you can play Mario Kart Tour with one hand.
Please don't play this game while walking down the street. You got to be really trusting your partner on that one.
Yeah.
They can just get rid of you pretty quick there.
Yeah, especially it's like, oh, Mario Kart Tour. Oh, okay, I guess. And then they just, I don't know. I mean, I want to give it another shot. I really think this game could be better, but I just don't like the control schemes. Like, I wish they had a more traditional, like, the soft buttons with the analog and, like actual, like, buttons. But, nope. It's all just like, just touch and go. And I mean, okay. I'm done. No more.
And if it's like the demo, so I I got into the beta test thing, which sounds like the gameplay is pretty similar, but a lot of the content was a little bit different. Especially like the supposed pricing model and such was a lot different. They introduced like this weird subscription based pricing that has everybody up in arms. It feels a little grimy, just a little bit, but like Kevin said, I mean, you can play the game without subscribing to anything, so
Yeah.
just don't, I guess. But the other side there, so if it's anything like the demo, you could turn on motion controls too and just kind of use like tilts to turn back and forth and such. I don't know that it actually felt much better to do that, but if I remember right, if it's still like it was in the beta, it's just kind of a buried option in the settings for some reason. But like I said, I played the beta. I got more than enough of this game. You can hear my thoughts on it on a previous episode, which actually sound quite a lot like Kevin.
Yeah.
It's a Mario Kart game
Yeah.
on your phone, which is by itself a pretty cool thing. But it will never, ever, ever replace any other Mario Kart game ever. It'll be disappointing to you if you are trying to compare it to one. Period. So good, I guess.
or like in that. Oh, I was
like
thinking
I joked around, but I liked it. Okay, it wasn't too bad. It was just kind of like, okay, this is cool. I guess I have no reason to play it. Okay, uninstall. And that was about it.
When you said good, I was thinking like the Philips CDI, like when Zelda says good.
Yeah.
That's what.
Well, excuse me.
I can't get over that. Let's see.
So this one's almost too easy. With Mario Kart, for some reason, we have now got Mario Kart wheels, like racing wheels, announced. That's really weird timing to me. Like, so now we have some Switch peripherals coming that are racing wheels, Mario Kart branded, for Switch for a Mario Kart game that is a couple years old at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I mean, cool, but why?
New game coming out, maybe? No, it's not
Mario Kart 9?
Yo!
I don't think so, but as soon as I saw it, that was the first thing that my mind wanted me to think. Like, hey, is there something new? All I can say is I really want those to play Rocket League. I know it's terrible. I know that would control horribly and be awful, and I still want to play Rocket League with a racing wheel. I just do. So
Nice.
hopefully you can. If you can, I'm going to seriously consider buying one.
Ooh, man. Crying wall emoji. Where are you at, Cube? Man, I need that crying wall emoji.
And then since that was a very minor one, I'm gonna go twice because I can't. So another piece of hardware that came out right along with Link's Awakening, the Switch Lite is finally out.
Yes, I was gonna. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna mention that later, but you know what? Okay.
So Kevin already has 7 of them, which is
Yeah,
pretty cool. That was a bold choice, but
7 as in
One for each day.
No,
Yeah.
I just went okay, and I thought about it for a while. Financially, it just doesn't make sense for me because, like,
skip to Kevin 2 months later. Hey guys, I bought a Switch Lite today.
Well, the thing is, it's like I think I still want to have the ability to dock and play on my TV, even though I rarely do that now. And here's the thing. Okay, hear me out. So I've been watching a good number of YouTube reviews on the Switch Lite. One in particular by Kevin Kenson. I don't know if y'all know him, but he is one of the, I believe, the more prominent. Shout out to Kevin Kenson, by the way, great name.
You Kevin's God.
Yeah. Anyway, so he did a review on the Switch Lite. He actually did multiple videos about the Switch Lite. He even asked his friends about the Switch Lite. He even gave instructional videos on how to use your Switch Lite and your OG Switch at the same time, like, or just be able to coexist in the same situation that you have for gaming. And like, him and like other people I've watched, like random YouTubers, like it just seems to me that like when they compare the Switch Lite to the OG Switch, they say stuff like, "Oh well, even though it's smaller, it feels better in the hand. The rails don't make it as sturdy." I mean, okay, where was this when the original Switch came out, right? So I feel like when there's a new thing that comes out, there's always ways to justify the new thing as best as possible, even though it may not be the best option to do, right? Am I wrong? Because like, and Kevin Kenton, he made some really good points, obviously, with the Switch Lite, but I feel like a lot of these reviewers, I think part of it's marketing. Like they reach a little too much just to sell to people that the Switch Lite is a really awesome console that you can coexist with the OG Switch. But honestly, I just don't. I mean, it's too hard. Like, are you gonna go through all those configurations and like timings and like trying to sync? I mean, I guess if it's worth your time, sure. But for me, like I'm all about convenience. Like I want the most convenient experience. And if I already have the OG Switch already, I'm gonna stick to it because I don't think I can have. There just does not make sense to have two Switches at the same time, right? Like, and that's why I will never buy a Switch Lite, never, unless
Sergio, you buying this?
No.
Just wondering.
Unless
Okay.
I get rid of my OG Switch, which I will not. So there we go. I don't think so.
Yeah, so Sergio and I are on team doubtful for this one.
Oh, okay.
Serge,
Well,
what are your thoughts, if any, about the Switch Lite that we haven't talked about before? Because I'm pretty much like what I said before is still what I think. Like, yes, it's a nice unit. It looks nice. It apparently feels really nice. I don't want it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very tough to justify, just spending a little more, 100 more or maybe less to get a full Switch, especially the version 2 that is out now, and you get the ability to dock it, and you still get everything about the Switch, even Rumble and portable. You get the best of both worlds. So if you know you're gonna play exclusively on handheld and you're never gonna want to dock it and you don't mind a couple of the issues that we've been hearing, smaller screen, that's that you could always look at that as a positive. It's a better screen quality. I mean, it's a tough sell. I feel like very few people, it's made for very few people, but for them, go ahead, enjoy it.
Yeah, and like
I think that's fair.
yeah, that's a fair answer. I mean, look at GI Jello, or GI Jello. I love saying that. So shout out to him. So he bought a Switch Lite and he loves it a lot, and kudos to him.
Yeah, in his case, it makes a lot of sense because if I understand correctly, it's like the family Switch, and it's out and about, and anyone can play it at any time with everyone's account on it. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and first of all, I don't have a family of my own, and I don't think I just that sounded kind of sad, but I mean, I just don't have a situation where I would use a Switch Lite.
Right, right.
And I do mean it when I say I'm not gonna get one. So Shell Shock. Nah, keep your beard.
He's
man.
fine. We already discussed that.
I know we did. We talked about Discord, so he's cool. No, shout out to Shell Shock. I'm gonna put a plug on him for sure. He does a lot of streams. He is, very, very active within our community and just awesome person to have around. And yeah, like, and he has a really awesome beard. Don't want you to shave it unless you want to. So, keep that beard, man, because you're gonna make some waves with I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I was thinking of like a segue, but it didn't work. So, yeah. I am consider. So okay. So speaking of seeing, which I didn't say.
It's not even your turn, man.
Oh, is it? Oh, it's not even my turn. Okay, I'll wait. Go ahead.
Yeah, Sergio. Segue
Speaking
on
of
the
waiting.
spot right now.
This is like the worst transitional show.
Speaking
I've
of
ever been.
disappointment,
That's great. Oh man. Joy-Con drift. I know it's not my turn, but that's what I wanted to say. I'm like, Are we at a break? No.
No.
No, this is staying in. This is part
What?
of the bad segue episode.
No. Okay, but can we talk about the Joy-Con drift though? Because like that's been bothering me forever.
We don't know anything about it. Like
Oh.
the answer
man.
for Joy-Con drift, why is it happening? There are theories. Apparently, part of a Joy-Con stick is kind of wearing and creating dust, which affects the contact within the Joy-Con, and that's the best guess everybody has. But it's not really confirmed, and we don't really know that the Switch Lite has the same issue or not. They seem to have the similar designs on the stick, but we're not gonna know. So
We're not. No.
yeah,
And it's preventing me from getting the neon purple and neon orange Joy-Cons. That is a very real thing right now. I really wanted them. But I'm not gonna get it because of the drift. And when I think of drift, I think of like Mario Kart, but this is the bad drift, man. Oh god, or Tokyo Drift. You know, shout to Fast and Furious series, one of my favorites of all time. So speaking of fast, whoosh. Let's go to another topic. I'm so bad at this. Like, I'm bad at bad segues. Like, you don't even know. Like
you're normally good at bad segues.
Yeah,
But
I'm
when
so
we
bad.
actually call it bad segues, it just becomes awful.
Because I overthink it. You know,
This
I'm
is
like,
the
man,
best.
you know, well, okay, fine, but I'm done for
And
now.
realistically, I'm refusing to save this segment. Sergio has to save it.
Sergio.
Wait. we're done.
I wasn't saying that. It was supposed to be your
All
topic.
right, we're keeping this right because, like, I feel bad for for people who listen to this for the first time. They're like, wow, these guys are like, what are they doing?
We should probably cut some of this.
Yeah.
Is how I'll say it.
Yeah, maybe a second of two. And you know, speaking of second, I got a second Switch.
Yeah, that's right. That is awesome. So, well, is it a second account or just like you tied the same account? Or
I tied the same account. It is the Switch 2.0. And you know what's surprising to me, which is kind of cool, amazing. So the reason I got it was to play Puzzle Quest.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
That's
right
dope.
by my bedside, so I can play it whenever, really easily. And I've actually played more on that Switch than on the one that's docked on my TV. I guess when I'm there, I'm always going back to Rocket League, and the portable one is for Puzzle Quest, and I'm really digging the portable Switch, which you know I could have been digging for so many years now, but finally I'm seeing the magic here.
Welcome to the dark side, my friend.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for how long now?
Right. And you know, with that, I mean, it's so hard to justify the lie. But again, you know, if it works for you, that's great. And for sure, I can definitely see myself playing Pokemon on portable now.
You know,
Oh, I love it.
I can't wait for Pokemon. And I mean that, okay? Like I am genuinely excited. Genuinely, yeah, can't say words. Excited about Pokemon. Puzzle Quest though, I've heard a lot about it. I mean, you've been talking about it for a while. And
Yeah,
I think a lot
from
of people,
Sergio.
from Sergio. And like, I mean, I'm looking at the pictures right now. I mean, I'm feeling it a little bit. I mean, how, like, so it was released on PC before, right? And then now it's remastered. And so, like, is it a must play for the Nintendo Switch?
If you like puzzle games, yes. And I know it might seem like a mobile game because this game came out before the whole
Yeah.
mobile game craziness started. It's definitely
Right.
not. This is very deep. You know, it's basically an RPG, but the battles are in a match 3 puzzle. Think of it as Bejeweled. But
Right.
other than that, it's a full-fledged RPG. You have a story, you have different classes. I picked a different class on either Switch, and it's classes that I hadn't played before. I'm basically playing the game on hard mode, and I'm
Mhm.
enjoying it. It's tough. I'm grinding away so I can beat a bat of all things. But
Whoa, what?
yeah,
Oh,
so
I love it.
you have
Dang.
spells, you have mounts, you have a citadel in your castle that you can buy items for and
Mhm.
unlock different dungeons and things for it. it's an RPG, but it's a puzzle game, and it's the best of both. It's awesome. It's very addictive too.
Man, I mean, gosh, like I need that crying wall emoji again because I don't know, like there's here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a list of games that I want to play, and a list of games I want to get, and a list of
buy
games
'em
that
all.
just buy them all. That's how to get you.
Yep.
That's how I get me. That's how. I don't know. I just there's so many games.
No,
Man.
here's what you do. You make the list, right, of your games, and then you ask yourself, would I enjoy this more on a Switch or a Switch Lite? And then you buy the Switch Lite, and that's it.
Yes, I love it. This is the plan.
I'm not buying a Switch Lite. There's no way, dude. Like I just already said it. I know I've made a huge deal, obviously, but like I'm not gonna get it. And
What do you think, Sergio? You still buying this?
I'm not
No.
getting it.
No,
Dude,
no, me neither.
Okay, we can make a bet right now. I'm not getting the Switch Lite. Like that's for real. Like I even told myself I'm not getting it. Like now
Oh, well,
new
that
Joy
changes
Cons.
it.
Well, new Joy Cons, maybe, but but not a Switch Lite. I refuse to get one. I am not gonna get one, even though I
Hey,
like to
just
watch reviews.
just Sergio, just earmark this is where this is, which episode this is. Just clip it, have it ready. Just yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it just reminds me of the picture you sent, Daryl. I think
Yeah.
either you
Oh,
or,
yeah.
or Rebecca, like you guys.
I did.
Made,
I
You
did.
did. Okay. So.
Why don't you describe this picture, Kevin?
Inevitable. You know, at one point when I did think about getting the Switch Lite, I was gonna make that face and like make that picture, but I was like, nope, I am not gonna give in. I would
So
not.
very clearly, it's a picture of Thanos saying, "I am inevitable,"
I'm inevitable,
with a expertly photoshopped version of Kevin's head over Thanos's,
Oh man.
and expertly photoshopped holding a gray Switch Lite. So it'll happen. It's pinned in our Discord right now. It's gonna stay there. So there you go.
Okay, well, let me ask this: when do you think I would possibly hypothetically get a Switch Lite, which won't happen?
For Pokemon.
So you think I'm gonna get it in November?
I will
Yes.
say this: before March.
Oh, that's okay.
Mm.
Okay, wow, that's
If I'm just betting, which now we've provided him a challenge, so now he's gonna try to stop it, and he'll actually get one in April. But yeah, that's just where I am. Okay, so this was fun. This was a lot of fun, but
no, it was good.
unfortunately we're running out of time, so I'm gonna stop it. This is the best segue of the entire episode. Sergio, what you got?
Yeah.
We have answers for last week's question, which was, what topping would you add to mac and cheese to make it unique but still good? So Dr. Fat said it has to be bacon. I like Cube's answer. He said it would be coffee.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I would add on top of that, like if it's like maybe some sort of coffee sugar, that would be really good because you'll have a little bit of the sweetness and a little bit of that coffee taste. So I would vouch for that. Very good.
Yeah, I definitely gotta try that. Big Shots mentioned a smoked mac and cheese, which sounds awesome. Dragon said he would add more cheese, which is not very unique, Dragon, but it's not a bad answer.
Oh,
I would top my mac and cheese with more mac and cheese. Yeah.
yo, I mean that's an answer that you won't expect though, because I mean it's just kind of like
That's true.
yeah, but you know that's cool. Yeah, cheese on
So,
cheese.
what about you guys?
Okay, well, I would put Korean style barbecue. Okay, not barbecue pork belly. Okay, thick with like a million C's, juicy with a million Y's, and just embedded into the mac and cheese. Man, you know, you get the fattiness, you get the, you know, I already said the juiciness, and you know, just when you think of pork belly, you think of cheese. Cause like, okay, there is a place back in downtown LA, in Koreatown. It's called Quarters, or as I like to say, Quarters. Korean barbecue, and
These are
they're-
supposed to be short answers, Kevin.
I know, but I'm terrible at short answers. So they're
Segues
known-
and short answers. There you go.
okay, well, so they're known for their pork belly, and they do a really good job. And there's this thing where you can dip your pork belly into into this cheese, and it's so awesome.
Oh.
So they cook for you too. All right, so I'm being a shameless plug for Quota's Korean barbecue. So if you're hearing this, Quota's like, this is for you. Okay, so yeah, you know, you get the marinated pork belly, you dip in the cheese, you eat it, and you love it for life. It's awesome. Okay, with a lot of
Nice.
a lot of love. Yeah. Okay, I'm done. Pork belly is the topping.
Nice. What about you, Daryl?
I was just making sure he was actually done because he said he was done and he kept going. So I'm just there's a buffer there.
Oh man,
This is one of those episodes, man. I don't know.
this is like the worst performance I've ever had in an episode.
This is like the best episode ever. So yeah, actually, some of the best mac and cheese I've ever had was, and this is not my answer, but actually had pulled pork on top of it, which is kind of a similar
Hey.
idea, actual barbecue pulled pork. So maybe a little bit less sweetness, but a little more savory. So yeah, great answer actually.
Yeah.
But since I am from a coastal area, I'm gonna have to go with a coastal answer, and so I don't know exactly how unique this is, but you don't really see it all that often, even though it's awesome. Shrimp mac and cheese is fantastic, and I would always eat that. So yeah, I could have gone with something like gator tail, which I know you're trying to get me to.
Yeah, because I've had alligator meat when I visited Florida when I was a little kid, and it was very delicious.
It is good. It is good. But
yeah.
honestly, if you take most of anything food related and add shrimp to it, I will like it. So yeah, shrimp mac
is
and cheese
good.
for me.
Nice.
Nice. Well, I don't know when the whole mac and Cheetos thing became a thing, but it was a thing that I did around 2014. It had to be hot Cheetos, by the way,
Yo,
and that's pretty
that's
good.
the OG. Like hot Cheetos, even when you're a little kid and you get a bag of hot Cheetos. Excuse me, Cheetos. Like
Yeah, not a bag of hot Cheetos. That's very different.
hot Cheetos, okay, like flaming hot, and like it's so good, and it makes your lips red, and you're kind of like trying to get some water, or actually you should get milk, but it's really good and great snack.
Nice. And you know what else? Tuna. Mac and cheese and tuna.
Actually,
Hey.
yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
That is very nice.
And now we have a new question.
Can I guess it?
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
I'm not betting my life on this one because there's no way I'm gonna get it. I was thinking maybe you would say like, if you were a car, what kind of car would you be? But
Oh,
think-
I mean,
Was that
what-
close?
You're close. Look at this.
Is it kitchen
If-
appliance?
If you were a horse, what would you change your name to?
What
Hey,
would
wait,
you
hold up,
change
hold
your
up.
name to?
That's
Yes, because you have to for this question.
Okay.
oh, like Seabiscuit and like
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not using the answer by the way. Yeah, I mean that's like that's like a retired name. You can't use it. Well, actually you can, but just try not to.
Lake Biscuit.
Ooh.
Solved it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
Sergio.
yeah,
Whatever.
Speaking of solving, solve solve this situation by saving.
Let's dissolve this episode.
Dissolve it. Oh man. I said before, this is the worst performance I ever had, but it's so bad, it's so good.
It's a cursed episode right here. Yep.
Disagree with me if you can, but I had a fun time. I hope you guys did too.
Yes.
For those who are listening the first time,
I'm
You're
so
in for it.
sorry. All right, Serge.
Save us.
Well, thanks for listening, everyone. We're gonna jump out of here. But you can keep the discussion going by chatting with us on our Discord group. The description for this episode has a link to our Discord if you would like to join. We are also on Twitter and on Instagram as Nintendo Jump, and we also have a Facebook group. Please send us any feedback you have at NintendoJumpPodcast@gmail.com. The best way to support this show is through our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/NintendoJump, or by leaving a review for this show in your favorite podcast app. We would really appreciate it. This is Sergio, and on behalf of Daryl and Kevin, thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.
Seriously, guys, I'm sorry.
Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. That is our Bad Segue show. Bad Segue show. Bye, everybody.